We're back. According to many of the latest polls on the 2016 presumptive Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton. But does Christie have an Achilles heel? The New York Times ran a front page story by Kate Zernicki on Christmas Day under the headline, "Stories Add Up as Bully's Image Trails Christie." The governor's reputation for scorekeeping and exacting political retribution on anyone who defies him may work in New Jersey, but it's not clear that it will work well on a national stage. Here's one example cited by Zernicki. She describes in the New York Times story, quote, how in 2011, Mr. Christie held a news conference where he accused State Senator Richard Cody of being combative and difficult in blocking two nominees. Mr. Cody, a Democrat who had served as governor following the resignation of James McGreevey, responded that he had not only signed off on the nominations, but had held a meeting to try to hurry them along. 3 days later, Mr. Cody was walking out of an event in Newark when he got a call from the state police superintendent informing him that he would no longer be afforded the trooper who accompanied him to occasional political public events, a courtesy that was granted to all former governors. Will Christie's reputation for seeking petty political revenge hurt his chances to win the White House? Matt Katz is a reporter with WNYC who has covered Christie, and John Nichols is with The Nation. Matt, as I read the Times story yesterday, I was thinking this is a portrayal of him as jolly old St. Nick. In other words, he's making a list and he's checking it twice. Now, you've covered him for years. Does that comport with what you've seen in Trenton?
It does. There were a number of examples in there. He doesn't go by the naughty or nice list. He has referred to it on the record at press conferences as the penalty box. That's what he calls it when those in his circle or outside his circle are not towing the line and are not doing what he thinks needs to be done for him to govern the state properly. That's how he would frame it.
Hey, John, this is a show called Hardball. I mean, it's clear that he plays hardball in the Garden State, and apparently it works. Will it work in Des Moines? Will it work in Peoria?
No, it will not. It will be highly problematic for him. One of the subtleties of the Republican presidential process is that, first off, it begins very, very early. It begins about now. And secondly, people shuffle. They move their preferences. And for somebody like Chris Christie, if he goes into Iowa or, frankly, South Carolina and starts making lists and deciding who's on his side and who isn't, that is an incredibly destructive way of going at it for him. Because as candidates drop out, as they get in, people move from camp to camp. You don't burn your bridges, and you don't let people know that you're mad at them early on if you expect to close the deal in 2016.
Matt Katz, one person's bully is another person's decisive leader. Maybe there's a yearning for this sort of leadership in the heartland.
I think there might be. I mean, the knock against the president right now is that he doesn't know how to work and maneuver the levers of power. And Chris Christie has managed to do that. I mean, you know, when Republicans vote for a bill in New Jersey and Christie vetoes that bill, and then the Democrats try to override that veto, all those Republicans end up changing their votes because Christie knows how to work those people. And I've actually seen him in audiences. I was at the Republican convention last year, and he went to sort of a sleepy breakfast of North Carolina Republicans. And he, at the end of his speech, he said, listen, you better go out there and vote for Romney or I'm coming back Jersey style. And he made what was clearly a Sopranos Jersey reference. And the crowd loved it. They mobbed him out the door. He couldn't leave because they wanted to get a picture with him. So there might be a yearning for something tough. You know, one man's bully, like you said, is another guy's governance.
John Nichols, Christie's punitive political punishments are not limited to his opponents on the Democratic side either. He's taken out retribution on members of his own party as well. In 2010, said the piece, when a blizzard paralyzed the state, State Senator Sean Keane, a Republican, told a reporter that one mistake the Senate president and governor had made was not calling earlier for a state of emergency, which might have kept more cars off the road. Mr. Christie was smarting from criticism that he had remained in Disney World during the storm. When he returned, he held his first news conference in Mr. Keane's home district. Shortly before, a member of the governor's staff called Mr. Keane and warned him not to show up. His seat was eliminated in redistricting the following year. Democratic Assemblyman John Wisniewski told the New York Times, quote, every organization takes its cues from the leadership as to what's acceptable and what's not, and this governor, in his public appearances, has made thuggery acceptable. And I guess therein lies the partisan divide. Some see it one way and some see it another. You can have the final word, John Nichols.
The final word is that the Republican presidential process, at least for now, starts in a state called Iowa. And there's a phrase called Midwest nice. The bottom line is that you don't start telling people who can come to the living room or the church basement or the community center to meet you and talk to you. You play games like that, and you're going to find that a gentleman named Mike Huckabee is going to come sneaking up on you very quickly. Chris Christie cannot bring this style to the Midwest and be a big winner.
I felt as if I saw the starting gun truly be fired on Christmas Day with that Times piece. Thank you both. Thank you.